Hello everyone, welcome to your weekly forecast for the week of September 25th through October 1st, or already October 2017. And this week is a big week in most of the astrology for all of this year, as we are having two major planets in the sky making a grand conversation by Thursday, September 28th, and as well on the same day we're going to be having Pluto coming direct, which is another very powerful aspect, especially as the first quarter moon in Capricorn will be conjuncting it exact as it stations direct, which is just a mind-blowing fact happening. So right now we are in Libra season officially, right? As the sun has moved into Libra. It moved into Libra on the 22nd of September, on Saturday, or no, not Saturday, Friday, last week, right? And of course this began the autumn equinox, right? And we officially come into the season of balance, right? The season of balancing everything out, putting everything into order, and getting everything straightened out in our world, right? Whereas we have been either oscillating on one side or the other. Libra aims ultimately, ideally, right? And not literally, but ideally, to come to complete balance at the center of it all, right? As you think of life as a sort of a pendulum swinging back and forth, to and fro, and the opposite sign of Libra, which is Aries, being like the furthest swing from the center of the pendulum, right, on either side of the center. Ultimately, Libra aims to bring it back into balance, bring it back into harmony, bring it back into order, right? And bring it back to the center. And also what's important about this particular Libra season is that Jupiter has been in Libra for the past year, right? Since September of 2016. And the sun will be traversing where and reviewing over the information, the expansion, the growth that Jupiter in Libra has been indulging us all in for the past 12 months, right? And whatever we've learned about balance, whatever we've learned about harmony, whatever we've learned about love and relationships, and the equal give and take between the self and the other, and the acknowledgement of self through the eyes of the other, right? And where this area of our life, wherever Jupiter in Libra has been for you in your personal natal chart, whatever expansion that this particular influence has been having on all of us, is going to be reviewed and tested, right? Put to the test, as in before we come to Jupiter in Scorpio within the next 2 weeks, right? By October 10th. This is the time right now to look at everything in our world from the center, right? From a place of sheer objectivity and balance, without swinging right from left to right. We come to the center, and we come to the center of the storm, let's just say, and we look at our world, right? And as Jupiter now is getting ready to have the conversation with Uranus by the mid half of this week, the middle portion of the week, this is asking the question of, do we like what is in our life or not, right? This is pretty much the final question that this is the final time we'll be answering this question now, right? Before we get deeper into it, before we plunge right into the depths of it with Jupiter moving into Scorpio, right? And as well, as this is happening, we're having 3 planets in Virgo trailing behind the sun, right? Mercury, Mars, and Venus, all in Virgo trailing behind. And this can be considered a stellium as well, 3 or more, or 4 or more planets in a particular sign. But all of this Virgo energy right now, and it's opposing Neptune and opposing Chiron, right? Opposing all of the Piscean energy that we have been in for the past few years now. All of this energy, all of this momentum right now, personally within us, is all aiming to get us fixed, right? To fix our lives, to fix the circumstances, to fix our habits, to fix our minds, right? To fix our life in a way that is sustainable and suitable for the new self, the new identity that we are looking to become, right? With Uranus in Aries now retrograde, it's the acknowledgement of what we want to transform into, what we want to capacitate, what we want to uphold within ourselves as the highest version of our identity, right? The highest version of ourselves. What does that picture look like for us? And our world needs to sort of mirror and reflect that back to us with Jupiter in Libra and the Sun in Libra now looking at it. But this is a big cleanup crew, right? Trailing behind, looking at everything. You can probably hear a lot of noise in the background. I'm sorry, everyone. But this has been happening for the past few hours now, so it's not going away anytime soon. And it's just speaking to the sort of tumultuous energy that we're all diving into, right? The title for this week is Your Personal Revolution, right? Because we're all looking to transform. We're all looking to break through the biggest like walls and challenges of our lives that have been somewhat if you think of what's behind the wall is the next chapter, right? Well, this wall that has been built up here for however many decades of our lives, right? As it's been sort of this barrier we've set up, this wall we've set up as a distinguisher, right? As a sort of marker of our identity. Now we have to break the wall. Now we have to get past it. Now we have to look beyond it as we step into the next chapter. So, yeah, it can be tumultuous if you don't allow it to crumble, right? If you don't allow yourself to break through your own barriers, to break through your own blockages. And this week too, and for I believe the next 2 weeks, Mercury will be in its Promethean phase, which means it is behind the sun, but it is out of its retrograde period, out of its retrograde zone, meaning it's past the shadow zone, right? And it's still behind the sun, so it's catching up and it's moving at its fastest pace right now. So Mercury representing our minds, right? Mercury representing our nervous systems even, and the perception of our world, right? And the processing of data in our world. This is the internalization of all of that. The internalization of all of the preparing, all of the shifting, all of the change with it being an immutable sign. It's ruling, it ruling Virgo, right? And it being in Virgo and opposing Chiron this week, and just coming off of a square to Mercury, square to Saturn, a square to Saturn, right? Coming off of a square to Saturn. This is major changes in how we look at things, right? Major changes in how we look at our world, look at our destination, look at our the adventure that awaits us with Saturn and Sagittarius, right? And this is preparing for the future, right? The Promethean phase of Mercury always prepares for the future. It sees and it downloads new insights that are not necessarily found in the outer environment, right? Because it is internalized. And this is looking long distance, right? This is looking beyond the barriers or the limitations of physical reality. So Mercury is basically boundless at this point, right? And it is collecting, I would say collecting new plans or new ways of going about reality, you know, setting new goals, setting new visions to achieve our goals, right? Preparing for how to make this shift into the next chapter. So Pluto has stopped as well during this week until we get to September 28th. And we're coming to this realization as Pluto has stopped. It's this creepy feeling, right, within all of us. It can be a creepy feeling, but it's more as a very alchemical stage right now in our lives, because Pluto representing our transformation, Pluto representing our truth, our personal truth, the deepest core of our truth, the personal essence, and our power, and basically the onion layers of our individuality, right? The onion layers of our soul. And Pluto being retrograde is all about the peeling of the onion layers, right, to the deepest essence. You can't hold anything, you can't tape off anything, right, with Pluto retrograde. It gets deeper than Pluto direct, and we're coming to this point where we've gone as deep as we can go in our internal psychological transformation, right? We can no longer continue to sit back and allow Pluto to work its magic on us, right? To continue to destroy and regenerate parts of our psyche that have lived in this past. Now, with Pluto preparing to come direct, as it stops now, it's looking at everything from a very alchemical and regenerative perspective, and looking at what it needs to transform in the outer reality, right? As it has transformed our psyches, our the psychological transformation, and the emotional as well, of course. It's preparing to shift momentum, right? To shift course, and it won't officially move. Like it will stay at 16 degrees of Capricorn until around the latter half of October. So this is when our power will be fully online, and we'll be seeing it like tangibly in our world. But this is the defining mark of what that will be for us this week, right? So getting into the week, on Monday and Tuesday, one of the major transits that are happening from the 25th through the 26th, we'll be having the moon in Sagittarius, and it will be squaring over to the Virgo stellium. So this is, looking, the moon in Sagittarius is always looking for new ways to expand, right, to grow, and we have to look for ways to expand in our current reality, right, as we are fixing everything, as we are preparing to change in every single way, in every personal way, whatever is personal to us. We're looking to change it, right? We're looking to shift, we're looking to become better in some sense, right, in our personal lives, as well as, collectively speaking. But we have to have a certain defining point for what we're looking to transform into, right? So it's not enough to just change. We have to look to what we're changing into, of course, right? So we have to look at the bigger picture. And by Tuesday, the moon will come into exact conjunction with Saturn, which by that day, by Tuesday, Saturn will be finally moving past the 21st degree of Sagittarius. And it has been at 21 degrees Sagittarius since around the end of July. And it has been stuck here for a couple months, right? So wherever we've been feeling stuck, wherever we've been feeling like, okay, I have these plans, I have these commitments that I want to follow through on, but how do I get the energy? How do I get the momentum to move forward with them? How does my reality continue moving forward from here? How can I, basically move on with my life? And by Tuesday, it will finally be feeling as if we are making progress, right? As the moon will conjunct it, and as it conjuncts it, it will be forming a T-square with a mutable T-square with Chiron retrograde in Pisces, which is about 26 degrees, and Mercury, which is opposing Chiron, 26 degrees Virgo. So Saturn and the moon in Sagittarius will be squaring over to both of these energies, and it's forming a mutable T-square, which is a very pressure type of a pressure-filled type of activity, right? It's requiring you to move in some sense, requiring you to follow through on, especially with Saturn being at the focal point of this T-square. It's requiring us to follow through on our vision, requiring us to follow through on our commitments to that vision, right? To traversing the path in front of us, right? To going on the journey. And we have to find a way to move past our fear with Chiron and Pisces, right? We have to find solutions by using the faculties of, the rational sort of planning, the preparing, the internalizing of strategies and tactics to conquer this subconscious fear that has been somewhat the main, it can be the sabotaging principle of 2017. What stops us from following through in our heart, what stops us from following through on the path that we all want to travel down is the Chiron, right? Is the wound, is the pain, is the fear of the past coming back, something coming full circle once again, the past repeating itself. It's like an endless karmic loop that we feel like we'll all be stuck in if we do go on this journey. So it's finding a way to move past that. It's finding a way to break through all of that with Mercury and Virgo, right? Finding the solutions, finding the strategies to be able to heal ourselves, to be able to look at Chiron, to look at our pain from an objective perspective and be able to rationally find a way to untangle ourselves from it, right? So yes, this is seeing the long term, this is seeing where we're going, and this is the powerful incentive now to get us out of this rat race, right? To get us out of this feeling of stuckness, this feeling of time loopness, this feeling of the record playing over and over again, right? By simply the commitment to change, the commitment to shifting, the commitment to see the light at the end of the tunnel, right? With Saturn and Sagittarius, of course. Sagittarius always being the light at the end of the tunnel, right? And it will be trining over to the North Node as well, which is focusing on the destiny, on our long-term future, and where ultimately we are looking to evolve into. The next chapter we're looking to step into, right? So by Wednesday through Thursday, from the 27th through the 28th, this is when biggest conversations will be happening now, because the moon will be moving into Capricorn, and Saturn, Capricorn's ruling planet, right, having just moved finally out of the 21st degree of Sagittarius, where it has been stuck for 2 months, right? The moon in Capricorn wants to get things done. It wants to be responsible, wants to follow through on the duties and the responsibilities that it is set into motion, right? And this is a movement type of energy. Any cardinal sign is having us move, right, out of a comfort zone. And also, with it not only being in Capricorn, but it is the first quarter square of the moon, squaring over to the sun in Libra, right? And again, we find balance. We find balance through this season, through the Libra season. We find balance through the dedication to working through it, right? The dedication to showing up, the dedication to grinding it out, right, with the moon in Capricorn. And we have to move towards our goals. We have to make progress through this movement, through the action, through the taking on of whatever this new world is. We have to take it on, right? We have to become it. We have to live into it. We have to step into it. And to do that, we have to show up to it, right? We have to, be the responsible citizens of our own community, right? If you think of, just ask yourself, what would a Capricorn do in any situation? What would a Capricorn do? The Capricorn would be the responsible one. The Capricorn would be the one showing up, right? The one following through on their goals, right? The one getting the plans together. The one, making the dedication to face the day ahead, the road ahead, courageously, right? And setting a plan to climb the mountain, right? To get to the top, get to the source of whatever it is, Saturn and Sagittarius, whatever this journey, whatever this light at the end of the tunnel, whatever this final destination will be. We have to dedicate ourselves to moving towards it, day by day, step by step, up the mountain until we reach the top of the mountain, right? Without getting distracted, without getting thrown off kilter, without getting thrown off balance with the sun in Libra and Jupiter in Libra, right? Where we have been thrown off balance before, we're looking at how we can balance that out now, right? How we can even keel this out, how we can return ourselves to center, return ourselves to harmony, and allow that internal harmony to reflect outwards in our outer reality, right? And our relationships, of course. So on the same day, on the 28th, okay, not the same day, but the next day, Thursday, by the 28th, we will be having the moon in Capricorn still conjuncting Pluto, which on that same day, Pluto will come direct, right? Will station direct 16 degrees of Capricorn. And what this means is power is coming back online. Our power is coming back online. Our energy is coming back online now as the path is moving forward now, as we are progressing, you know, towards our destination, as we are climbing the mountain top now with Saturn moving. Pluto comes direct now to be able to, okay, we're done psychoanalyzing everything. We're done transforming internally. Now it's time to transform our world, right? Now it's time to show the world how much we have transformed by bringing all of this power back to the surface, right? Where we've been somewhat in an underground cellar, in an underground chamber even, working through our issues, working through everything we've perhaps duct taped, hidden deep inside, right? Hidden below the surface. We have to rise up, basically out of the grave, right? We have to come back to life. And with that, like the phoenix rising, you know, we rise out of the grave, and coming fully back online with our power, we transform our outer circumstances, we transform our outer world through the sheer amount of power coming through us. How much we have brought to life within ourselves. I keep saying brought to life, even though Pluto is, you know, traditionally seen as the you know, like the destroyer, the one who deconstructs everything and everyone, right, down to the core, down to the bone. And in that sense, it is the Grim Reaper, Death Reaper, the Grim Reaper, right, the one who brings the death and transformation to the world and to everyone in it, right? But with that as well, Pluto isn't just the destroyer, but the regenerator of the new life, of the new seed, of whatever is at the core of the layers that hid it away from our perception, okay? From our conscious perception. It has to dig deep in order to get to this root, right? And as it gets to this root, this is the new life that springs out of the earth and takes hold of the world, and it becomes our source of power in this new world. And in that sense, the death that came beforehand was the blessing, right? And so now this is coming full circle with Pluto coming direct. This is the uprising of the seed from the earth, so that it may grow and blossom into the source of power for our next chapter, right? So I hope that makes sense to you guys. But as this happens as well, Jupiter will be opposing Uranus exactly. And I've been talking about this for a lot, right? I've been talking about this for a few weeks. But it's happening at 27 degrees, by the way. Jupiter in Libra opposing Uranus retrograde in Aries, 27 degrees. And this is a major conversation we're all having. And it's happening as Pluto is coming direct, right? So again, extra emphasis. And both of these planets aim to expand us in some way, right? Jupiter being within the orbit of Saturn, right? Being the planet before we get to Saturn, right? We have Jupiter, and Jupiter is aiming to expand out into the mysterious beyond, right? The mysterious beyond what is Saturn, beyond what is our definable parameters of reality, what is our definable statistics of reality, right? If we can see past Saturn, this is our light. This is our light at the end of the tunnel. This is where we look to expand. This is our God, right? This is how we grow. This is how we become more than what we are. What we are is defined by Saturn, right? And as we look beyond, as we seek to expand beyond what we are, we get to Jupiter, right? And Jupiter has been in Libra for a year now, and Jupiter has been aiming to expand us in the area of relationships, in the area of the other, in the area of balance, in the area of harmony, in the area of the proper give and take between two entities, right? Between two parties, but you know, the contribution of the individual into the collective, and becoming a part of that, right? Becoming a party of the collective. It's looking at every single, looking at every single element of the social realm and how we can better ourselves within that, right? How our outer social roles and the circumstances that go along with that, right? How does it coincide with who we ultimately want to become? The highest version of ourselves, with Uranus in Aries, the sign of, you know, individuality and identity, retrograde. And Uranus is the great beyond, right? Because Uranus is outside of the orbit of Saturn. Uranus is the mysterious beyond that we all, through Jupiter, are looking to explore, are looking to conquer, and are looking to ultimately become. And Uranus is the gate to the heavens. It is the gate to the outer realms, the outer planet, the greater galaxy, the greater, you know, the greater systems of life that go beyond the ring of Saturn, the ring or the orbit of Saturn, right? It leads us to, of course, Neptune and Pluto and whatever it lies beyond that, right? Whatever we haven't quite captured within our human consciousness quite yet, right? Uranus is the gatekeeper to the heavens in that sense, right? And with it being in Aries, and it has been in Aries since around, I believe, 2011, right? Or yeah, between 2011 2012 is when Uranus went into Aries. And for these past several years now, this has been the downloading of the new identity, the downloading of the new self, the actualization of what we could all become at our highest state, right? Uranus in Aries is kind of like the superhero version of ourselves, right? And what does that look like to us? Uranus is kind of foreign to our planet, right? And as we have been in this sort of framework, right, as we've been working through this energy, and the activations in the sky are what have led us to question it, right? With the Uranus-Pluto square that happened in 2012, that began in 2012, which opened us all into a new portal of reality, into a whole new way of seeing reality, and whatever was, you know, duct taped was basically blown wide open, blown apart in every single form and fashion, right? As our world was completely obliterated as we knew it. And the reconstruction constructing of our world into one that suits this superhuman version of ourselves that we are looking to become. Everything else needs to die off before that happens, right? And Jupiter now being the reflector, being the explorer, being the adventurer who wants to get to the other side of Saturn, which is Uranus, making an opposition to Uranus now. This is the chance to revolutionize our entire foundation, to revolutionize everything in our world, to revolutionize ourselves ultimately. But as we revolutionize ourselves internally, it reflects, Libra being the reflector, right? Libra being the mirror, it reflects our transformation into our outer reality, in every single facet of our reality, right? And every single relationship, and every single bond, and every single circumstance in our environment. It reflects the breakthrough. It reflects the essence of our soul. Ideally, it does. And if it doesn't, then this is the time, right? This is the time to align with it, right? To align ourselves in a way that allows this breakthrough to occur. And Jupiter being, of course, the expander, Jupiter making everything bigger, more dramatic even, right? This is big breakthroughs. This is big changes in life. This is big commitments. This is big life decisions, major life decisions that change the course and the momentum and the direction of our entire life from here on out, right? And it being cardinal. This is about life in general. This is about the movement of how we invest our life force, right? From here on out. The investment of who we want to be, who we want to become. Ultimately, the final decision of who we want to become. The final commitment to who we want to become. And to have that mirrored back to us in every capacity of our world. And whatever shifts that may contain for us, right? So we get to that question by Thursday. We get to this major decision point by Thursday. We get to this this major commitment to a whole new world by Thursday, right? So yes, a lot to look forward to on the 28th. And okay, by Friday through Sunday, by the weekend, right, from the 29th through the 1st of October, well, already October again, right? Mercury moves into Libra, right? So it comes out of Virgo where it rules, right? It rules Virgo. So it's coming out of its natural zone, and it moves into Libra where, you know, Mercury in Libra likes to balance things out even more, right? It likes to measure things. It likes to weigh the pros and the cons, you know, look at the black and the white, to look at everything and balance it properly from a you know, if you think back, or if you think of, you know, the traditional tarot deck, the Justice card being Libra's card, this is what we're doing now. We're holding the scale of our lives and putting everything in one scale or the other and seeing how it kind of evens itself out, right? And we're looking for the even keel, or we're looking for the most valuable thing to invest in, right? Whichever weighs itself out over the other side of the scale will be the winner at the end of the day, right? So this is how Libra makes its decisions. And it'll be catching up to the sun by within the next 2 weeks, right? By the week after the full moon week, which is next week. Okay, so also by this weekend we'll be having Venus in Virgo opposing Neptune in Pisces retrograde, 12 degrees, and this is the Venus being the lower octave version of Neptune. Neptune being the if you think of Neptune as the ocean itself, right? The unconditional outpouring of love, the divine mother. And we think of Venus as the lower octave version of that, the woman, the female, traditionally speaking, right? The feminine energy, the chalice of a portion of the ocean, right? As we take our chalice and we scoop it, let's just say, we scoop a portion of the water from the great ocean of Neptune, we get just this certain amount of water in our cup, right? Certain amount of water that fills us up. This being Venus, this is our personal desire. This is our personal likes and dislikes, our personal wants and needs. And it being in Virgo now, we're being very nitpicky about this, right? We're looking at all of the fine details. We're looking at the specifics, right? And at opposing Neptune, this is the facing of desires, right? This is the facing of, unconditional love with personal wants, desires, and needs. We have to find a way to balance this out. And with it being in an opposition, of course, this is the objectifying of desires, becoming very discreet and precise and nitpicky about what you do want specifically, right? Very specifically, not vaguely or dreamily or ephemeral. This is very specific. This is very like a concrete version of it. This is the signing of the dotted line, right? And with it being an opposition, this is finding a way to bridge the gap, right? An opposition can build a bridge between two planets, right? And we can cross the bridge, because they can find a way to mend their differences together through this bridge, right, as they are communicating and exchanging information with each other. And this is finding a way to bridge the gap between our personal wants, desires, and needs in our relationships, in our financial situations, and in our self-love, of course, with the higher octave, dreamy, somewhat unconditional, limitless potential of what all of this is, right? We can find a way to bridge the gap between our dreams and our reality. And we can find a way to meet in the middle with this. We can find a way we can find a way to make it work for us, right? In all of these areas of our lives, in our lifestyle, in our relationships, and in our careers and financial situations, right? So this is a very opportune time to make dreams reality, right? So by Friday too, we'll still be having the moon in Capricorn during that day, but it will be activating the Jupiter-Uranus opposition that occurred on Thursday specifically, right? It will square over to both of these planets, and it will be forming a T-square, cardinal T-square. So it will be activating these two planets, and it will be activating whatever decisions we made on Thursday, right? Whatever psychological decisions we made on Thursday will be concretized and put into motion, set into a plan, into a goal by Friday, right? Because the moon will be activating it. So activations are what drive us forward, are what impel us to progress through the transit versus staying stagnant in the transit, right? So by Saturday through Sunday, we'll be having the moon in Aquarius, which will be chilling out the energy a lot. And there won't be much going on per se until we get to Sunday. The moon will be conjuncting the South Node, and that'll be, the major transit of the weekend. Not much going on, but this is a chilled out zone, right? This is a chilled out time, and it will be forming a little bit of a mystical rectangle, and a grand fire trine kite, you know, kind of completing that and whatnot. But sorry, excuse me, I'm trying to get sick. But overall it will be, you know, a very chilled out time, a very open and relaxed and mentally stimulated time to get out, to socialize, to experiment, to figure things out mentally, right? To make mental breakthroughs. And as well, this stimulates our need to share, right? As it will be conjuncting the South Node, and it will be in Aquarius, you know, Aquarius being the sign of community, the sign of communion, and the sign of sharing and friendship, right? This is a time to socialize. This is a time to get out. This is a time to talk about the plans that were set into motion through the rest of the week. So we end on a positive note, and next week we'll be getting ready for the full moon in Aries, which will be a very prominent theme for all of us as this simultaneously happens. As this happens simultaneously, Venus will be in conjunction, catching up with Mars. So there will be a Venus-Mars conjunction as there's a full moon in Aries with the Sun in Libra. Mars being the ruler of Aries and Venus being the ruler of Libra, right? So it all comes full circle now. October 5th is when this happens, right? Next week. And as this happens, Jupiter will be at the final degree, the 29th degree of Libra, which is a major relationship culmination time. So lots to look forward to next week. And a couple of announcements I'm going to make before I end this video, right? So by the 28th, by the time, you know, all of this energy is having us shift into this next chapter, right, into this next world as we are transforming our lives. I am in the process of transforming this channel, so it will no longer be called Libra Luna Center. I will be rebranding the channel into another name. I will be announcing what it is specifically by the time we launch, which will be on the 28th, right? The 28th of September, I will be launching the website for the rebranding of a Libra Luna Center. And on the website you'll be able to look at all the services that we have to provide, and there will be a lot more interaction I'll be having with you guys, as I will be getting on social media as well, and we'll be posting, you know, daily transits or you know, experimenting with my level of engagement with you guys, right? So building a community. There'll be a lot more detail as far as specific transits that are happening on any given day, right? As I will be there to discuss what's happening every single day through written reports online on social media. So check out our Facebook page if you're not already following us, because it will be rebranded pretty soon, and I will be much more active than I've been lately. And also Instagram will be posting more stuff as well. And if you guys are missing Miko, which if you don't know who that is, if you look back in the history of our channel, she's my mom. We built this YouTube channel together, and she's in the middle of rebranding as well. So it's not that we're coming apart, right? We're still collaborating together, but she will be rebranding in sort of an offshoot branch of what this channel we will be branding into. So I'll be getting into more detail about that later. If you guys are following me right now, I'm kind of you know, my sinuses, but so I'm still uploading the September forecast for you guys. I know I'm super late, but the October forecast will be much quicker, hopefully, and they will be much more structured than September will be, as we'll be having more time to sort of rebrand them into the theme that the rest of the channel will be becoming over this next week. So okay guys, just be on the lookout for this. I'll be posting an official update pretty soon, but I just want to let you know, if you guys do see within the next week a new name popping up in your YouTube news feed, just know that we are in the process of rebranding, so don't get freaked out. And I'll be back in another video to discuss more about that. But for now, I hope you guys all have a wonderful week. Take charge, take charge of this transformation we're stepping into, because it is one of the most powerful conversations we'll be having this entire year, this Jupiter-Uranus opposition. So do not waste it, you guys. Allow yourself to kind of plunge into the unknown, because it's just going to get more intense by the time Jupiter comes into Scorpio. So you don't want to be on the wrong side of the fence. Jupiter and Libra are kind of being the fence, as it is the one who never makes decisions. But Jupiter in Scorpio is the commitment to the decision, and it is the plunging into one side of the fence versus the other. It is the black or white version of Jupiter and Libra, kind of looking at both sides, right? So if you don't like what you're seeing, you have to be the one to change that, right? You have to be the one to make the courageous leap into the unknown, right? You have to make the risk. You have to make the decision to change. And this is the most wonderful opportunity for us to be able to change in the ways that we want to, right? For us to live into and step into our true highest potential, right? So take care, everyone. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Use it to the best of your advantage. And if you would like a personal reading with me, I do have links in the description for you to be able to do so. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. I will see you all next week for your full moon in Aries forecast. Thank you.